So if you're managing anything in AWS, you know the feeling. What starts out as a simple best practice, resource tagging, can just spiral into total chaos. And as your cloud footprint gets bigger, it's not just messy. Inconsistent tags create some serious blind spots for your costs, your security, and your operations. In this explainer, we're going to look at a way to bring some serious order to that chaos.
First, we'll dive into the real cost of all that tagging chaos. Then, we'll check out an automated solution you can literally set up in minutes. We'll get into its no-code rule engine and see how it actually unifies your FinOps, SecOps, and DevOps teams. We'll wrap it all up with some practical use cases and take a look at what this all means for the future of your cloud ops. So, let's get into it.
It always starts out so simple. You've got a few teams, a couple of projects, and you just need to track who owns what. But as your AWS environment scales up, that simple little task becomes incredibly complex fast. And without a single unified strategy for tagging, you're pretty much flying blind. And that's where the chaos and all those hidden costs really start to pile up.
This is such a critical question because the real costs are often buried deep inside your operations. We're not just talking about a messy AWS console here. No. Poor tagging directly messes with your financial reporting. It creates major security vulnerabilities, and it just burdens your teams with endless, mind-numbing manual work. This right here really tells the story of two different worlds. On one side, when your tagging is consistent, you get complete visibility into your costs. You have a really strong security posture, and you lay the groundwork for some powerful automation. But on the other side, well, with inconsistent tags, you get financial blind spots, huge security gaps, and just countless hours wasted on manual fixes. The data you're working with is, to be blunt, unreliable.
Okay, so the big question is, how do you get from that chaos to consistency without launching some massive, time-sucking project that pulls everyone away from their actual jobs? Well, the answer is automation. And that's where having a platform that's built for exactly this purpose makes all the difference.
And this is it, TagOps. It's an enterprise-grade platform that was designed for one thing and one thing only, to automate compliant and consistent tagging across your entire AWS infrastructure. It works even if you're juggling dozens of accounts and regions, and it's really built to get rid of manual tagging work for good.
Getting started is designed to be super straightforward. You sign up, connect your AWS account using a secure, pre-built CloudFormation stack, which is basically just an infrastructure template from AWS, and you can immediately start setting up your automation rules. There's no complex setup and no agents to install on any of your resources. It's really clean.
The whole process takes less than 5 minutes. Seriously. Once you're connected, TagOps works in two powerful modes. First, there's the real-time, event-based discovery, which tags new resources just seconds after they're created. And second, there's a scheduled scan that's always running, finding and fixing any existing resources that aren't following your tagging rules.
All right, let's look at the real core of the platform, the rule engine. This is the engine that drives all the automation, and it's surprisingly powerful, but also incredibly easy to use.
The biggest takeaway here is that you don't need to write or maintain a bunch of complicated scripts. TagOps uses this really intuitive visual rule builder. This lets you create some pretty sophisticated tagging logic without writing a single line of code, which makes it accessible not just to your engineers, but to your FinOps and SecOps teams too.
So the engine is built on this simple but really powerful if-then logic. You define a condition, like if a resource is an EC2 instance, or if its name contains the word finance, and then you define the action, then add a specific tag. It supports complex logic with and/or conditions, and it works across more than 100 different AWS resource types. It's got you covered.
The actions you can take are also super flexible. You can apply simple static tags, or you can use one of over 22 built-in templates for common things like cost centers. Or, and this is where it gets really smart, you can use dynamic tags. These can intelligently pull metadata, like who created a resource and when, to give you this rich, automated context without anyone having to lift a finger.
A consistent tagging strategy isn't just a technical goal. It's a huge business asset, and it really serves as a common language for 3 of the most critical teams in your entire cloud operation.
TagOps really becomes this unifying platform because FinOps, SecOps, and DevOps all depend on the exact same foundational metadata. When your tagging is consistent and reliable, every single one of these teams wins.
So let's break that down. For your FinOps team, it solves that terrible cost visibility problem, which lets them do accurate chargebacks and budgeting. For SecOps, it closes compliance gaps by letting you create tag-based policies for things like encryption and access control. And for DevOps, it just slashes the amount of manual work by automating tasks like backups, patching, and scheduling.
Okay, so that's the theory. Now let's jump into some real-world examples of what this actually looks like in action.
For a FinOps team, one of the biggest nightmares is seeing a huge chunk of untagged resources that can't be billed back to anyone. With TagOps, you can create a super simple rule. If a resource is missing a cost center tag, then automatically slap the tag cost center unallocated on it. Instantly, those costs become visible in your reports, and you can take that untagged spend from a major problem down to less than 1%.
For the security folks, tags are just a cornerstone of modern security policy. You can create a rule that automatically tags any resource with finance in its name as data classification restricted. Now that tag becomes the hook for your IAM policies, which can then enforce that those specific resources must be encrypted with highly controlled keys. It's a fantastic automated layer of security.
And for DevOps, this is all about efficiency at scale. By automatically applying tags like Backup Daily or Patch Group Production, you can have services like AWS Backup or Systems Manager just automatically pick up those resources and stick them in the right operational workflows. No more manual configuration and no more missed resources.
So, what does this all add up to? Well, it's really about moving from a reactive, kind of chaotic state to a proactive, automated, and totally controlled cloud environment.
This approach really sets a new standard for your operations. Your FinOps team gets immediate and accurate cost visibility. Your SecOps team gets the foundation for automated compliance. And your DevOps team unlocks huge gains in efficiency. The bottom line is that every single team, is finally working from one single source of truth, the exact same reliable tag data.
You know, there's a line in the documentation that just perfectly captures the spirit of this platform. It says, TagOps is what finally gives SecOps, FinOps, and DevOps a reason to sit together. And it really is that unifying force, getting everyone on the same page about control, visibility, and automation.
So, to wrap it all up, TagOps is simply the fastest way to implement a consistent, compliant, and automated tagging strategy across your entire AWS organization.
So if you're ready to move from chaos to control, the best way to see the impact is to just try it for yourself. There's a 14-day free trial available. You can get your first AWS account connected in about 5 minutes, and you don't even need a credit card. It's your chance to see what automated, consistent tagging can really do for your ops.